With journals, that was that original entry point. Like before we had the general journal where it was all debit, credit, and then post. Debit, credit, post. Debit, credit, post. Instead of bogging down the general journal with all of that, they're saying kind of like a subsidiary ledger, we're going to have different journals do different jobs. So there, what you need to know is there are 5 journals for our special, and one is just the general journal, the good old general journal. What I've done, and I forget what your notes even look like. What I've done is, okay, perfect. Good, good, good. This looks nice. Sorry about the curvy journals, but I think you'll like it. What I want to do is talk about each of them and then mark up some things. We're first going to talk about the cash receipts journal. And I don't think I have them in the nice order you do. No, but that's okay. Cash receipts, let's just identify, let's look at the name. What do you think's happening in a cash receipts journal? We're getting cash. It's anytime cash is received. So money in. Anytime money comes in, even with a sale. Now what's kind of weird is we've got a sales journal. But notice, anytime it's a cash sale. So anytime money comes into our business, we are going to have a cash receipts journal. Do you want me to talk about all of them first and then start identifying a little bit more on the bottom? Would that help? Okay. A cash payments journal. Anytime we pay cash. So money out. Anytime cash is paid, even when we buy something. So if I go back here, money in when it comes in the form of cash sales. Money out even if we are purchasing inventory. Sorry they're not in the same order as yours, but they're together with like a little whoop-de-doo, right, above it. Fabulous. So words you're looking for, paid cash or cash, 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 cash. Anytime you see cash, it's either going to be cash receipts, cash payments. The sales journal is any time we sell something on account. Can we sell stuff though and they pay cash for it? Yes, but where would that go? Cash receipts or money in. So anytime we sell something, who do we sell to? Customers or vendors? If customers owe us money, is it AR or AP? So let's think, and don't necessarily write this in your notes, but let's think about these two a minute. I can make a sale, and if the customer says, here's my cash, it would go in cash receipts because I got money. If I make a sale and the customer says, bill me, I'm going to charge it, it would go over in sales journal. So what's tricky here is you could have a sale in each one of these journals. It's just how is the customer paying? Okay. And then we've got the purchases journal. When we are purchasing inventory only on account from a vendor. When we buy something and don't pay for it, is it AR or AP? We owe. So it's AP. The key with the purchases journal is that inventory only. Can we go buy, say, supplies or equipment on account? Yes. But purchases is only for merchandise on account, so inventory. If we would go buy a new John Deere tractor and charge it, it actually would go in the general journal. If we go buy the John Deere tractor with cash, it'd be cash payments. But if we go buy the John Deere tractor, which we're going to use in our business, not resell to someone, but we're going to reuse in our business, and it would go in general because it's not inventory. The only thing that goes in purchases is when we're purchasing inventory or merchandise that we're going to resell. The general journal then is basically the leftover. Whatever doesn't fit in the other four would go in the general journal. Transactions that cannot be entered in one of the special journals. And those even include the correcting, adjusting, and closing entries. What I'd like you to note there is when we purchase stuff other than inventory, on account. And I'll just write John Deere tractor example. Unless I'm a John Deere tractor salesman. So now what I'd like to do is go back through them again and talk about what the journals actually look like. Not without doing, oh, I thought I had one more. Okay. Perfect. Here we go. Look at cash receipts. We got money in. If you think back, and I'm just going to draw for a minute, we used to only have a debit and credit column, right? It was either a debit or credit. That's it. Holy moly, we have a lot of columns now, don't we? We have cash, we have sales, we have AR, we have sales, we have other, we have COGS and inventory. Whoa. No longer is it just debit and credit because these have very specific jobs. Why do you think we can get by with having a cash debit column for a cash receipts journal? Because it's money in, right? We're getting money. So you won't see a cash credit column in this one. Which journal would have a cash credit column? Cash payments. So they give you special columns that do special jobs. If I put in $100 right here, that means I have a cash debit. Do I even have to go over to account and write cash anymore? No, because it was already here. It's already labeled for me. I don't even have to go put anything over under account. Sales discount. It's already labeled for me. But look at this one. AR credit. Let's think about why that's a credit. What's happening when an AR is credited? Yeah, we're getting the money. They're paying our bill. The question is, which AR? So if these column headings are kind of discrete and you're not sure which AR, what I want you to do, it's going to start to look like kind of like a little rainbow here, but right here, circle AR and draw an arrow over. We would have to come over here and say which or who. Sales revenue, is that already labeled pretty good? How about other account credit? Is that labeled very good? No. Circle it, and we'd have to come over here and say who. How about COGS, debit, inventory, credit? Is that already labeled pretty good? So what you need to know about these special journals, you're going to have a ton of columns. Some of them have a lot, some of them have a little. they might already beautifully be labeled, or in the case of these two, we have to actually come over here and write which account or who. Who is the customer that's paying us? Who is the other account that's being credited? Should we do the next one? It's going to start to make a lot more sense now. So now we're in the cash payments. Why don't I see a cash debit? Why am I only seeing a cash credit this time? Because it's only money out. We're going to start over here this time. Cash credit, is that already labeled as best as it can be? Yes. Inventory credit, already labeled lovely. AP debit. Who? Which AP? Other accounts debit. Who? Who are we debiting? It'll take you a while to get used to not putting anything over in that little who section because you've always had to account number. So what's the account being debited or credited and how much? But because of these special journals, some of them are already pre-labeled for us. Let's move on to the next one. Sales journal. This one looks easier, but it's actually not. Look at how much is jammed into both of those. We have AR debit and sales credit. We have COGS debit and inventory credit. So it's actually like a 2-for-1 here. You know how every time you make a sale, you've got the two transactions? The stuff we sold and the stuff that's gone? They're actually jamming it all into one line right here. Out of all of them, though, here's the only one we need to say who. This will make a lot more sense tomorrow when we actually journalize, but we just got to talk about it today first. Next one. Purchases journal. What are we buying here? What's the only thing we can buy in the purchases journal? Inventory. How many who's do we have here? I feel like I'm reading a Dr. Seuss story. How many who's? Which one is a who? There's two of them. Other. Got to say who. Is it starting to click though? Last one. What do you think we have to do on here? Everything is a who. We have to say who is the debit and who's the credit. And that is how you first learned. And we had to say who for everything. I think kind of like subsidiary ledgers, you're going to actually find this to look complicated at its surface value, but you'll find it to be pretty easy once we start getting going. Okay. I want to take, I don't think I have a slide in here for this. Just going to add a blank slide. Let's do a quick review. How many journals do we have now? 5 journals. 4 are special, meaning they have a very specific special job. CP, CR, cash receipts, cash payments is cash transactions. So in other words, money in, money out. Can I sell something? Even though I have a sales journal, can I still sell something and use one of these journals? Yeah, if the customer pays with cash. We have sales and we have a purchases journal. And those are for on account transactions. And then the last one is the general journal, and that's for everything that doesn't have a home already, everything else. Now there's something special about the purchases journal, and it's only when we purchase inventory on account. Speaking of on account, when we sell something on account, it's dealing with an AR. When we purchase something on account, it's dealing with an AP. One more little label, cash payments is money out. In other words, when we're buying something, cash receipts is when money comes in. Who is any time the column label needs more info. A cash debit, we know that's a cash debit. That means money's coming in. An AR credit, we don't know who the AR is, so we'd have to actually, in the journal, say who. What's so great about these? It frees up the general journal, kind of just like the ledgers. It frees up the general ledger. These free up the general journal, and they're very specific. They're much more specified. And then the general journal just is kind of the leftover, whatever doesn't fit somewhere else, in addition to the correcting, adjusting, and closing entries. What does it look like from a posting perspective? Okay, I don't want to throw too much at you today. I'd rather do more of this tomorrow. So here we have the cash receipts journal. Is that in your little notes or not? Okay, so that's money in. So I see, like here, you can see as an example. Can you tell what's going on May 1st just by looking at that transaction? What did the owner do? Invested money, okay? Because we had a cash debit of $5,000, so the other one has to be a credit. But we had to say who. So do you see how that works? It's not, everything's single line because there's enough columns to get it done. From a journalizing and posting perspective, you don't run over to cash every single time and journalize that or post that. You're only going to post the $53,769. You're only going to post sales discount debit at the end. So that's what you see with these little numbers down here, and we'll do more of that in the coming days. Okay. Look at this. So this, and you maybe noticed this check marks. You guys see these check marks? That has to do with AR. So here, I don't even know what the transaction is, but let me analyze it. Can I assume the Abbott sisters paid their bill, but then got a discount because they paid early? Look at that. They paid their bill. They owed $10,600. They only actually paid $10,388 because they got a sales discount. Okay, so what we do is we go tell part of that story down here, and we don't update the control account till the end. So that's what I said. This part's going to get complicated. Let's trust the process, though, and just focus today on vocabulary. Does that sound like a good idea? Okay. I'm going to have you do some questions. They'll probably take you till the end of the hour. I would like you to do questions 7 through 15. If you get hung up on anything, just leave some space in your notebook. So questions 7 through 15. And I'll let you work quietly, independently, whatever with each other. And we'll go through the answers probably first thing tomorrow. That way we can use, you can review. I'm on page 352 in the book. Question 7 reads, identify and explain 4 special journals discussed in the chapter. List the advantage of using each of these rather than the general journal. Again, if you get hung up on anything, just leave it and we'll go through the answers more tomorrow. But you'll have the rest of the hour to work on these questions. And they should be more vocab based, but I think you're going to want to have your additional notes handy.